Hello everyone, Justin Vacula here with another video in my Stoic Philosophy series, now video number 33. This video will contain notes from a recent discussion group I hosted in the Philadelphia area with the Humanist Association of Greater Philadelphia and touch on themes concerning free will in Stoic philosophy. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my website at justinvacula.com. Links are in the video description. My Stoic Philosophy video series explores the philosophical tradition of Stoicism with goals to inform, empower, and help others benefit from the practical wisdom of ancient Greek, Roman, and modern thinkers. I tackle many topics including handling adversity, finding meaning in life, working toward contentment, dealing with change, anger, and gratitude. I'll begin with a short introduction to Stoic philosophy and then introduce some passages from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations and Seneca's Letters to a Stoic relating to free will. Stoic philosophy was popularized by ancient Greek and Roman thinkers, including Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca. For the Stoics, a main focus in life is pursuing virtue to attain a well-examined life through practical applications of philosophy, acting with good character, using reason to form accurate, careful judgments about the world, and having contentment through casting away anxiety and certain desires. Stoic writers focus on many perennial human concerns and urge people to take action, applying what they learn to everyday life. Even though many Stoic writers are centuries removed from us, their wisdom endures and is extremely relevant to our time. I think that a fruitful approach for today will be to talk about individual issues within the umbrella of free will in reference to passages from Stoic writings. We'll explore what may be outside of our control and inside our control, habits and changing habits, means to attain goals, and the possibility of changing thoughts and behaviors to better live, among other topics. Let's start with thoughts from Seneca. Seneca's first letter is titled On Saving Time. He encourages people to be mindful of their current situation in life and make good use of the short time we have for living, to live well and not squander our existence. Perhaps by paying attention to what's going on around us, using our time well, being productive, accomplishing a social good, and finding meaning in life is something within our control, an area of freedom we can exercise rather than being in a mode of autopilot, letting life pass us by. More awareness and self-reflection can help us lead a better life, and this could be an area we can have some measure of control over. Seneca writes to his friend Lucilius, "Set yourself free for your own sake, gather and save your time, which till lately has been forced from you or filched away, or had merely slipped from your hands. Make yourself believe the truth of my words, that certain moments are torn from us, that some are gently removed, and that others glide beyond our reach. The most disgraceful kind of loss, however, is that due to carelessness. Furthermore, if you will pay close heed to the problem, you will find that the largest portion of our life passes while we are doing ill, a goodly share when we are doing nothing, and the whole while we are doing that which is not to the purpose. What man can you show me who places any value on his time, who reckons the worth of every day, who understands that he is dying daily? Hold every hour in your grasp, lay hold of today's task, and you will not need to depend so much upon tomorrow's. While we are postponing, life speeds us by." Can we find some measure of freedom, personal accountability, and choice in contemplating the use of our time and our lives? Are fears something which may interfere with ideas of free will? Might we be able to rid ourselves of certain anxieties and fears to better improve our quality of life? Are we powerless when facing certain thoughts? What can we do, if anything, to maintain a sense of personal freedom? Seneca talks about fears, mainly the fear of death, in letter 4 titled On the Terrors of Death. For many Stoic writers, including Seneca, death is merely a natural process, an inevitable end to humans that is not to be feared, but rather accepted as a cycle of change, that our material bodies and their organs will eventually die, and this will lead to our oblivion. We can have an accurate view of things in order to best cope with our situation, which should lead us to be rid of our fears. In having a proper mindset, we can take action and live life fully rather than being downtrodden. Perhaps this may be difficult to come to terms with, and change might not happen overnight, but every journey must begin with a single step. Rather than giving up hope and surrendering to despair, we can accept death and value this life we have, even being grateful for it. Seneca writes, "Boys fear trifles, children fear shadows. We fear both. All you need to do is advance. You will understand that some things are less to be dreaded, precisely because they inspire us with great fear. No evil is great, which is the last evil of all. Death arrives, it would be a thing to dread, if it could remain with you. But death must either not come at all, or else must come and pass away. Most men ebb and flow in wretchedness between the fear of death and the hardships of life. They are unwilling to live, and they do not know how to die. For this reason, make life as a whole agreeable to yourself by banishing all worry about it. No good thing renders its possessors happy unless his mind is reconciled to the possibility of loss. Nothing, however, is lost with less discomfort than that which, when lost, cannot be missed. Therefore, encourage and toughen your spirit against the mishaps that afflict even the most powerful. If we desire to be calm as we await the last hour, the fear of which makes all previous hours uneasy. This is a perspective on death, but we can also analyze other things we fear, examine our worries, and perhaps find an element of control, some degree of free will, in being able to reform our thoughts and improve our lives. Contemplation can help us better understand the true nature of things and lead to contentment and acceptance of what is out of our control, while taking measures to focus on what is in our control. We can look at our fears and with hard work reform our thoughts and better react to that which can cause us grief, on the Stoic account. In letter 5, Seneca writes, "The limiting of desires helps us also to cure fears." Perhaps, too, we can come to terms with our eventual deaths rather than desiring what is not achievable and complaining about something we can't change. Seneca also writes in letter 13, titled On Groundless Fears, "Some things torment us more than they ought. Some torment us before they ought, and some torment us when they ought not to torment us at all. We are in the habit of exaggerating or imagining, or anticipating sorrow." He also writes, "There is no limit to our sorrows if we indulge our fears to the greatest possible extent." Can we work on limiting our fears, even our desires, and eventually be free of them to improve our quality of life and maintain some sense of personal freedom? What about influence from others, from our environment? Might a sense of free will be compromised by environmental pressures in association with other people? Seneca writes about this in letter 7, titled On Crowds, that society influences us and that the unreflected multitudes can present many vices. Can there be an antidote, a possibility of maintaining a sense of freedom and being above the influence of the crowds? Again, mindfulness is helpful here, a sense of vigilance about what is going on around us, recognizing that it can be easy to conform, to copy the habits of others, and not question what is going on around us. We can question what other people consider to be good and virtuous, and contemplate if it really has value. We can also work to avoid certain individuals, but we still may find ourselves among the presence of people we would rather not associate with. Seneca writes, "Do you ask me what you should regard as especially to be avoided? I say crowds, for as yet as you cannot trust yourself to them with safety. I shall admit my own weakness, at any rate, for I never bring back home the same character I took abroad with me. Certainly, the greater the mob with which we mingle, the greater the danger. Come now, do you not understand even this truth, that a bad example reacts on its agent? The young character, which cannot hold fast to righteousness, must be rescued from the mob. It is too easy to side with the majority. Much harm is done by a single case of indulgence or greed. The familiar friend, if he be luxurious, weakens and softens us imperceptibly. The neighbor, if he be rich, rouses our covetousness. The companion, if he be slanderous, rubs off some of his rust upon us, even though we be spotless and sincere. You should not copy the bad simply because there are many, nor should you hate the many because they are unlike you. Withdraw into yourself as far as you can. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is mutual, for men learn while they teach." How much influence might others have on us? Can we overcome and maintain a semblance of freedom? Are there some certain instincts or behaviors we display which might limit our freedom? Perhaps we can make our best efforts to reduce our reactions to certain events, but still find ourselves succumbing to certain patterns of behavior. But might we be able to improve or even extinguish certain reactions in order to maintain a sense of free will? Seneca writes about this in letter 11, titled On the Blush of Modesty. "For by no wisdom can natural weaknesses of the body be removed. That which is implanted and inborn can be toned down by training, but not overcome. The steadiest speaker, when before the public, often breaks into a perspiration, as if he had wearied or overheated himself. Some tremble in the knees when they rise to speak. I know of some whose teeth chatter, whose tongues falter, whose lips quiver. Training and experience can never shake off the habit. Nature exerts her own power, and through a weakness makes her presence known even to the strongest. I know this blush, too, is a habit of sort, spreading suddenly over the faces of the most dignified men. Whoever is assigned to us by the terms of our birth, and the blend in our constitutions, will stick with us, no matter how long or how hard the soul might have tried to master itself. Might freedom be found in progress, in improvement, in being aware of what is happening, and working to reduce or eliminate certain behaviors. Perhaps it can be a fool's errand to completely eliminate something like nervousness, but with practice, reflection, and experience, we can move from an extreme paralysis or inaction to perhaps mild anxiety or slight nervousness. Let's now explore a passage concerning free will from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. Can we remain steadfast in the face of suffering? What we see in the world is harmful to us or others. Can we have power to modify our thoughts in order to progress? Can we shed unproductive modes of thinking and take power over our thoughts and lives? Marcus Aurelius writes in Book 7, "What is badness? It is that which you have often seen. Amidst all that happens, keep in mind that you have seen it often. Everywhere up and down you will find the same things, with which the old histories are filled, those of the middle period and those of our own day, with which cities and houses are filled now. There is nothing new. All things are familiar and short-lived. How can our principles become dead unless the impressions, thoughts, that correspond to them are extinguished? But it is in your power continuously to fan these thoughts into a flame. I can form the opinion that I ought to have about anything. If I am able to do so, why am I disturbed? The things that are external to my mind have no relation at all to my mind. Let this be the state of your effects, and you will stand erect. To recover your life is in your power." In your power. This is a prominent theme in Stoic writings, that we can exercise control over our thoughts. With careful work in reframing our thoughts, being mindful of how we react to events, recognizing that they are external to us, and a willingness to change, taking personal accountability, perhaps we can find a measure of free will in many circumstances. Here's more from Marcus Aurelius on this matter. He writes in Book 8, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not the thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. But if anything in your own disposition gives you pain, who hinders you from correcting your own opinion? And even if you are pained because you are not doing some particular thing that seems to you to be right, why do you not act rather than complain? But some insuperable obstacle is in the way. Do not be grieved then, for the cause of it not being done depends not on you." Taking action, then, to change circumstances around us where we can, rather than merely complaining, is Marcus Aurelius' suggestion. If there is something we can't change, well, we can do our best to bear the circumstances. Complaining, though, either way, does not seem to be a productive course of action. Perhaps we could recognize something we don't like, something that we would prefer to be changed or not have happened, but again, that is something which can be outside of our control. Perhaps a measure of free will can be had in reacting properly to circumstances and seeing progress and or steadfastness within ourselves. A passage here to end the video. Seneca writes in letter 16 titled On Philosophy, the Guide of Life. "Someone may say, what help can philosophy be to me if there is such a thing as fate? What help can philosophy be if there is a deity controlling all? What help can it be if all is governed by chance? For it is impossible either to change what is already determined or to make preparations to meet what is undetermined. Either, in the first case, my planning is forestalled by a God who decrees how I am to act, or, in the second case, it is fortune that allows me no freedom to plan. Whichever of these alternatives, Lucilius, is true, even if all of them are true, we still need to practice philosophy. Whether we are caught in the grasp of an inexorable law of fate, whether it is God, who is the Lord of the universe, has ordered all things, or whether the affairs of mankind are tossed and buffeted haphazardly by chance, it is philosophy that has the duty of protecting us. She will encourage us to submit to God with cheerfulness and fortune with defiance. She will show you how to follow God and bear what chance may send you. But I mustn't pass on here to a discussion of the problem, what is in our control, or if there is a governing providence, whether we are carried along enmeshed in a train of fated happenings, or whether we are at the mercy of the sudden and the unforeseeable. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more content. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my website at justinvacula.com. Links are in the video description. Please subscribe, share, comment, and like the video if you find my contribution worthwhile. Watch earlier videos on this channel in which I explore perspectives within Stoic philosophy that can help improve your quality of life. Consider donating if you support my work and would like to see more, but this takes time and effort to produce content. I seek to have more scripted videos like this one and to improve my video quality through using different approaches and learning how to better create YouTube content, although my time can be quite limited given other obligations. Have a great day.